And we're live.
Whoa!
Oh, hey, whoa.
How do I get the link? That's a good question.
We're not. Are we doing separate audio recordings or just fuck it?
I was gonna say yes, but
I mean, we probably
can-
should.
Yeah.
All right,
Uh,
I'm ready.
Didn't we do a couple of live streams there where we were like not putting them out as podcasts?
Yeah, because we didn't do any fucking talking about anything on them. We were just chilling.
I think that there we are. Yeah, okay. Now I gotta tweet it.
People are gonna be so happy to see our beautiful faces again.
Yeah, I just checked. The last one with Felix was 2 months ago. Which Jesus.
That's a long time.
Hmm?
DC dude showed up. That's cool.
Welcome.
He says hello.
Hi.
Matt Cisco is here. He says sup Ryan, but he didn't say anything to you guys, so
Oh,
you know.
Ah, come on.
I'd say hi back, but that'd just be.
Yeah,
That'd be
he's
embarrassing.
he just wrote you two suck and Ryan rules. Interesting. I mean, I don't
That's fair.
disagree.
Well, I don't know if
I mean-
quite. Let me get on this. Let me get on this live.
I guess if you look at it from this perspective, we've never drawn a blockbuster comic book.
Eric Bowen says it's been too long. I agree. Justice A says,
It
"Hey
has
guys,
been.
listen, I was busy. I was doing something that you guys like. I was working really hard on a thing."
Maybe we'll talk about that thing in just a sec. Do we want to wait a sec for some more folks to show up, or should we just get into it?
Let's just get into
Ryan,
it.
legally, you're not allowed to say that you are working on a thing.
Yeah, that's true. That was a breach of contract. Do you want us to cut it?
I
We can
can.
cut
You
it.
know what? I've got this thing here. I'm gonna show you guys. Oh, it's just below the camera. What am I working on? I am showing
Oh,
you.
no.
I'm showing you page 1 of a new project, and you can't see it. All right.
Ooh,
Uh,
a new project, he says. Well, I'll bring us in here, I suppose. Oh, first we should probably get the audio going. Yeah?
Yeah,
boys?
you ready?
Yes, sir. Okay. On go. 3, 2, 1, go.
There we go.
That, folks, is for all of our podcast fans. You're welcome. You'll hear this in your feeds sometime soon. But first, coming out tomorrow, we got a brand new episode of the show featuring
Yeah.
Riley Rossmo and Stephanie Phillips, the creative team on the current Harley Quinn book.
That's a good
It's a
episode.
fantastic
Episode.
conversation. Yeah, fantastic conversation we had just a couple weeks ago. That's going to be coming out tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled to the feeds for that because it's a great time. But tonight, it's a vibe session with Ryan and the Supple Boys here.
Yeah.
We're excited to get into it. We're excited to see you guys back in the chat. It has been a minute. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for coming back, of course. Feel free to drop any sort of questions or whatever you got for us in there because we'll have time to get to them. We don't have a whole lot on the docket. Of course, lots of pop culture news to get to. But first and foremost, Ryan, you shared with everybody earlier this week, I believe, it was that you finished drawing Venom. You put the last lines down
Yep.
on Venom 200,
Yes.
which of course is the final issue of yours and Donny Case's run.
Right.
Sir, how do you feel?
You know, I have something lined up. I've already started on my next thing, and I planned. It was normal to me to go right into the next thing, and I just kind of like kept going. And then right as I started to turn in the last pages of Venom, everybody started getting sentimental and being like, "I can't believe this is the end. Can you believe it?" And I'd be like, "Well, I mean, you know, the
Yeah,
train's
but-
rolling on." And then it started to get to me, like when the last 2 pages were coming in, where they were like, "Oh my God, you know, this has been 4 years. Like, can you believe it?" And blah blah blah. And I was just like, "Oh man, I guess I can't believe it." And then even my son came in, my 7-year-old, and he was like, "I was like, this is the last page of Venom that I'm doing," and he was like, "Wait, you're not going to be doing Venom anymore?" And he seemed like, you know, he was 3 when I started doing Venom, so
Yeah.
it's pretty funny. But you know,
Yeah.
like I said, Donnie and I are continuing to work together, and we were talking about what we were working on yesterday, and I was just like, I'm just going to. He was like, "You're already turning in pages," and I was like, I'm normally up top on a project. I'll burn off a lot of time because I'm, concerned about what I'm doing and like, oh, I don't know this book. But I was like, this time I've just got to plow ahead and keep going, and so that I don't think about it and get, bummed out about it. So, I mean, I'm not bummed out about it. I'm proud of what we did and glad that we didn't overstay our welcome and all that. But it's a little bit weird for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 4 years.
I feel emotions about it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
no
weird.
shit. It's for you
we
guys.
didn't even work on the book, but it's been so long.
And the back the back half of the series for you guys, we've been doing the show and everything, and it's been so. I mean, it's been crazy on our end. One, to get to talk to you guys, of course, but also like to see the fan community sort of come around to a book like that. I don't know the last time we've ever really seen something like that happen, where a book can have such a devoted sort of fan base, even within that of the bigger Marvel universe.
Like again, I think that also being the last year, being in COVID lockdown and not going to conventions, and you almost forget how much how much people love it. So it just is like, I was producing this thing in a vacuum, and then I would get tweets and comments and stuff like that, and it was nice, but nothing shows you what they're thinking more than like when you see them face to face at a convention, and then you're like, wow, I didn't realize it was like this.
Yeah. But thankfully we've got so many fantastic fans, including a whole bunch of you guys in the chat here. If you've got any
John Iker's trying to get me to cry, but I'm not. He wishes I would have overstayed my welcome. Well, Donnie and I are going to continue working together until we start facing backlash. Like, I'm looking forward to the thing when they're like, everybody's like, oh, these guys, they don't know what they're doing anymore. They stink, they're washed up.
Yeah.
But you know what? And then you guys are gonna say that, and we're gonna be like, well, screw you. We're still working together.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, somebody addressed it in the chat here. Oh, Dakota, what's up, man? Happy to have you. Someone pointed out the sign. This is actually the first live stream we've done it with the sign. Look at that.
Oh shit.
Everyone. A fantastic
Charles Soule is in the chat right now. This always makes me feel uncomfortable when other pros are here, cuz
Oh boy.
Anyway, Charles, do you want to I'm texting you, do you want to be on the live stream?
Ooh.
Here, I'll text that to you right now.
Wait. Is it really Charles though? Because he said this is really
me,
me, Ryan, which sounds suspicious.
No, the way that he says
Chip.
it, I believe that's him.
Chip
Oh, I guess
again.
yeah. He said, "Can I
Would
see
Chip
him?"
go to the length of making a fake account under Charles Soule's name?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
He's done way
Okay.
weirder things. Anyway,
It's worth pointing out that Dakota Crow said, "Hi, yo, I'm Dakota Crows and I'm here," which is a reference to an old show that Griffin and I may have done in the past. Ryan gets it. He was a big fan back in the day.
He was. He loves Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like Prime wants X-Men stuff out of you, Ryan.
I mean,
I did a whole Wolverine book.
They're doing this whole Hellfire Gala thing. I don't want to draw a gala unless I mean, I assume that there will be a fight somewhere in there, but talk to me when the fights start. I'm not down with this party stuff.
Drawing a hard line there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm out.
Gig. Charles is wondering if you meant with his face when you said have him on.
With his face?
He said, okay, all right, well, he's going to fix his hair. So.
All right, yeah.
Fix your fucking hair, Charles.
Well, Ryan, it was May the 4th be with you, so we'll have a whole bunch of stuff for Charles.
Oh, you mean you wouldn't normally have a whole bunch of Star Wars questions for Charles?
Son of a
It's a very
nerd.
special occasion.
Cam Census gave us $4.99.
Oh, I forgot about the super chat. I didn't even remember that we could make
Super
money on
chat
this.
for back. Let it be known, everyone watching, that all of the money from the previous super chats, we still don't
It's
actually
frozen. I don't know how to access it.
how to get to it.
Who has it?
YouTube has it.
I like this question from Michael Van Noy. Is your mom proud of you, or does she think you are silly for drawing little cartoons?
Wow.
The truth is, both of my parents were super supportive of. I think that they saw that I had like a passion and a talent. Well, they knew I had a talent for drawing. They didn't know what I was going to do with it. But then when I started showing direction, I think that they were just pleased that I was showing any direction in life, because prior to that I was adrift. And so they were totally supportive, and they love it, and they like to brag about it now. I don't know how much they were bragging about it when I was living with them, and they had to be like, no, I swear he's drawing a book and somebody's paying him to do it, because it was like $40 a page or whatever. But they now are super proud parents, and it's fun.
Well,
and they occasionally ask me to draw stuff for so and so, and I'm like, all right, but do you know how much this is worth?
Do you know how long my commissions last?
Yeah, okay, Mom, sure, get me a pen.
Well, for what it's worth, Griff and I are proud too. So.
All right. Hey, I have something for the chat. Okay. We won't do this. Well, maybe we'll do this later. I think that we'll save this for later, but I think that I'm going to call my 10-year-old in here, and I want you guys to ask him questions about being my son.
Okay.
So we'll do a segment later, and you can also ask him questions about Shonen Jump and manga. All right.
Okay, sick. Sounds good.
That'd be
Should
great.
we launch into pop culture news? Should we wait for Mr. Charles Soule?
Yeah, let's wait for Charles for now. Somebody asked, what's going to retire first, for Ryan from comics or Ryan from wearing that hat? I will never. I will retire this hat, but I will just buy this exact same hat again. I buy it about once every year, and I just throw the old one away and get a new one. Sometimes I go with the orange logo. Sometimes I go with the white. DC dude wants to make friends with my mom. No, I don't agree with that. Stegman, any cryptocurrency investing advice? Dogecoin, people love it. All right, I'm adding Charles.
That's true.
All right.
Did we read Ben Gross's thing already about being in the hospital?
No, you can say that.
He said, "Hey Ryan plus Supple Boys, I'm in the hospital right now, and I've been binging some old Stegman episodes to pass the time. Thanks for making my stay better. Much love. Hope you get better, Ben."
That's super nice.
Get well soon.
Yeah.
And happy to have you listening.
That's awesome. Oh my God.
There he is.
Look at that scruff.
Hey.
Look at that shadow he's got. He's looking roguishly handsome, I would say.
Roguishly? Interesting.
I don't know. Is roguishly a word?
Yeah, roguishly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fuck yeah. That's
in time for. Is today Revenge of the 6th or what? Whatever the fuck.
It is.
Revenge
Big
time Star Wars stuff. So that's what we're talking about now, Ryan. Sorry.
No problem.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what we warned him. We warned him about this.
I don't need to be here, do I? Abigail.
It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's fine seeing
I'm
you.
happy to
Welcome
see
to
you.
the call.
It's okay.
Yes.
Real quick though, I do want to know, how did you celebrate May the 4th? What'd you get up to?
What did I get up to on May the 4th? I probably worked my fingers to the bone because I have so many things going on, so many stories to tell. As far as Star Wars related stuff, I got really excited for the release of War of the Bounty Hunters, which came out on Revenge of the 5th, came out yesterday, but that's the main thing. I think I celebrated May the 4th on the 5th by having like a virtual drink with Steve McNiven, which was super fun. We just sort of caught up and talked about how proud we were of the story and everything like that. So
Very nice.
that's what I did.
Steve McWho?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
I should have him on the show sometime. Charles, actually, could we replace you with Steve right now?
Sure.
Could you call him up on your phone. Just hold it up to your.
Hold, like FaceTime him here in front of my. Yeah.
I think that'll work. That worked quite well.
That's technology. That's absolutely technology. I like the hat, Ryan. That's for the Tigers.
Yep. The Detroit Tigers. Somebody asked, they said your Wikipedia says you're from Milwaukee, but you are in fact from Michigan, correct?
I was born in Milwaukee.
Okay.
But we moved to Michigan when I was, I think, 3. My only memory of Milwaukee is walking into a screen door and like banging the shit out of my head. Which was, when you're little, like your earliest memories revolve around pain.
Yeah.
So my earliest memory of Milwaukee is pain, and my only memory of Milwaukee is pain. So I don't ever want to go back there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, that's fun. I was born in Indiana, and I moved to Michigan when I was 3.
Huh. How about that? We're both part of the Michigan diaspora,
You know,
I guess.
One of the first memories I have of living in Michigan, and I think it was like right away, is riding my big wheel by myself down the street. I would never have let my 3-year-old do that.
Safe and fun.
I have, like, do kids still have big wheels? Like, I have a lot of big wheel memories.
No, there was I think they were too dangerous because cars kept backing up over kids on their big wheels because they couldn't see them.
What I remember about my big wheel is riding it so much that the wheel, which was just plastic, just like a plastic thing, like it got holes in it, like it eroded away from like riding on the rocks. And but you still rode it, you still did.
You ever catch a sick drift in a big wheel and it just tosses you right out of that thing? It's
well,
pretty good.
Wasn't there the Green Machine or the Green Monster? That one had like the brake on it.
Yep.
Oh damn.
Well, Charles? I don't know if you remember the Knight Rider one that some kids had and it had a windshield.
Yes.
I was so jealous of that one.
Sounds dope.
I had a He-Man one, and I still very vividly remember when my parents decided it was time to throw it out. And I remember I happened to be outside when the garbage truck came, and I watched it get put into the garbage truck and like crushed. And it was just like one of those end of childhood moments where you're just like, oh no.
Brutal.
The only toy that I had as a kid that had as much prominence in my headspace as my big wheel was that big Godzilla that was like 3 feet tall.
Oh, I remember that one.
Would shoot out with a little like fire, and the tail part would come off, and whatever.
And Voltron. Voltron was a cool big toy that everybody had.
I don't think I had a Godzilla toy. I don't think I had any Voltron toys.
By the time you were a kid, you had video games. You didn't need toys.
Yeah.
Amen. I guess, yeah. Absolutely. Did have a lot of Spider-Man figures, if you guys are aware of Spider-Man.
They look like children. Aren't they still kids?
Yeah, well, they can drink, and that's the official end.
Yeah. It's the official end of any sort of happiness in life, Brian. Any sort of innocence.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's when you give yourself over to the dark side and become completely consumed with alcohol and how it can make you say the things that you've always wanted to say, but you would never have said before.
Isn't that how you got married, Ryan?
Oh, I did tell my wife on my 21st birthday. Look, I didn't start dating her till I was 27, but I did tell her on my 21st birthday when my friends all bought me shots that I was in fact in love with her.
Aww.
And she was like, yeesh.
You are.
Wait, how long did it take to get together after that?
Well, so she was dating somebody at the time, so that didn't go well. And then she dated that person for a while longer, and then I was dating somebody else. Not at that time, but like almost, like a year after that. And I dated that girl for, 5 years or whatever. And then we both broke up with the other, these people at the same time. And then I was like, you remember what I said? No, I didn't really bring it up because I felt like an idiot.
You absolute dog.
And, but, she knew what was up and I knew what was up. So then we broke up.
You should have Erin in here and she can tell us the story from her end. I'd love to get her perspective on your 21st birthday.
Said I love you.
Well, it is a legendary story among my friend group because I was the last one to turn 21. And I was militantly against letting this happen. I did not want to get super drunk. And it took me all of like 5 minutes to not remember anything that was going on at the bar because they were just lining up shots. Mm-hmm. And I did get kicked out. It was from our favorite bar. It was at our favorite bar at Michigan State. And so we knew like a bunch of the people that work there. So it's a very gentle kick out where they just slowly, they're like, all right, Ryan, you know, time to go.
All right.
And I don't remember this, but I was told that as I was leaving, I got a standing ovation from the bar patrons.
Very nice. Very nice.
That
Charles, how was your 21st birthday, Charles? We're going around the bend.
It was good. I was dating an older woman at the time. She was 22.
Oh my goodness.
So she already knew the sort of the ways of the bar, I guess. And so she's like, we're gonna take you out. We're gonna have a good time. And I had never been in a bar. I'd heard about them before, but I was like, that's not for me. She took me by the hand. She led me inside, and you know, we had some drinks. It was fun. I mean, I don't know. Like she kind of made a big deal of it, and it was very like sweet. And then I got just like Ryan, you know, like about 5 minutes in, because it tends to begin with a shot. It was a nice shot. It was like a fancy shot, but a shot's a shot. And when you are not a huge drinker, which I kind of wasn't, it just starts to all happen very fast. A lot of things happen very, very fast. And so the first, I can remember it. Like I remember the color, like my mind has like a color scheme of what the bar looked like.
Right.
It was brown. You know?
Classic bar colors.
Yes, exactly. It was brown in there.
Dark and dingy.
Oh, I know that place.
It was. Yeah. It was. You know. And that is about where it stops. So that was my 21st birthday.
Very
I was
nice.
in a brown place, and I had some drinks there. So it was a great night. It was about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
In your suppler years, that's supple boy's age right around there.
I think my mistake was I'd never really done shots before, like more than one shot, and I was just like, all right, fine, guys, I'll do your 6 shots, but that's it.
So after going from not really being a shots guy to I'll do 6 shots.
Well, they had already they had like lined them up, and I'm like, all right, not knowing that like 6 was gonna ruin me, you know. So I was like, all right, guys, I'll do these ones, but no more after this.
Well, you're a big guy. Were you like super skinny when you were younger?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Then yeah.
And I mean, they all went down in about 5 minutes, so.
Yeah, that's gonna ruin anybody. Yeah.
Yep. Is it pop culture news time?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Charles, you got some. You've got opinions, right?
Famous segment.
Yeah.
Birthday
I'm
roundup.
sure I do. I'm gonna find them now. That's for sure.
Pop culture item number 1. There's this shit coming out called War of the Bounty Hunters. What? What? No. Look, there's all kinds of things going on in the world of pop culture. Let's go ahead and get out of the way really fast. Our famous segment, Let's Go Leto, which is Jared Leto news. Unfortunately, the Morbius movie has been pushed back again.
No, please.
Yeah, I didn't even know if I should bring it up because I didn't want to bring down the tone of the show. Everybody would just be bummed out for the rest of it. But it's been delayed again. So it's going to be a little bit before we see how Sony snuck Morbius in the back door.
You kind of sound like you're about to cry.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it. It's not a great day for me.
Let me tell you.
Pushed back to
Go ahead.
January 28th, 2022.
January.
I have a quick anecdote about Jared Leto that involves me and Charles. So, we were at that place in Chicago that they have the C2E2 Marvel party at.
Yeah.
And when we were sitting there, that's when they dropped the first photos of Jared Leto as Joker, and he had the damage tattoo, and we were ripping on it just left and right, making fun of it, and then I convinced you to tweet. What? Yeah, it ended up great. I convinced you to tweet something about it, and you did, and then you got piled on Twitter immediately. It became an immediate issue.
Yeah, Twitter, I don't know. I kind of learned my lesson that, like, you know, if that bar was like a brown place, I think Twitter is also its own kind of brown place. And I am very cautious about the things I say on it now. Like, it's just not, you know, Twitter's a blast. I really like it, but it's, you know, life is way too short to get piled on by a bunch of strangers about Jared Leto's Joker tattoos.
I give no opinions one way or the other on anything anymore because once you get sucked into one of those fights, it just drains all your energy.
You know what? It drains it like a living vampire might.
Oh, very good.
Maybe they should
Very
change
good.
it to Morbius instead of Twitter. Great idea.
You know what? The thing is, like, living vampire. That's like, I know a lot of living vampires, like plenty. Emotional they're all over the place. People who just suck your energy and time. They're the worst. So I don't know why Jared Leto. If I were to think of one, Jared Leto, and hypothetically would be one. So maybe it's great casting.
I bet he is. I bet some of the things that you hear about his like method acting sounds pretty draining.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
Can we let's get the take and go home, right?
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
he seems like a really nice guy.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
What's up?
Was his band 3 Odd Foot of Grunts? No, that was Russell Crowe's band.
Yeah,
That was Jared Leto's band.
30 seconds to
30
Mars.
seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, you see my confusion. Like three
do.
things.
I went to high school with the guitarist from 30 Seconds to Mars. No big deal.
It's pretty cool. You should try to get Leto on the show.
Yeah. come on.
Yeah, and
Those
we
connections.
could just say this stuff to his face.
We say it's our famous segment, Let's Go Leto, where we interview.
I'll be like, first of all, my wife thinks you're hot, so you're on my shit list.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's stay in the Spider-Man realm for pop culture news. I don't know if you've seen this, but because we've continually been talking about on this show about how Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are almost certainly back for No Way Home, no matter what anybody says to deny it. But Andrew Garfield has been very quiet about it. And then all of a sudden, he's been doing just a ton of interviews where he's going on there and he's like, "Listen, I'm not in the movie. I don't know why everybody thinks I'm in the movie." And Griffin and I have been messaging back and forth just with these different interviews because we think each one of them is horse shit. I like he's riffing, he's acting. I don't buy it. He's
Not one bit.
right, Griffin?
Not one bit. He's lying right to everybody's face. He's just because he'll ramble on for like 2 minutes at a time about how he's not in the movie, and surely if he wasn't in the movie, he would just say, "No, I'm not in the movie."
He's like, "Oh, I'm on Twitter and it's trending all the time," and I'm like, "What's going on? I'm not in the movie." And it's like, what?
When I encountered that news item yesterday or whatever it was, all I saw was a headline, and the headline was Garfield denies doing Spider-Man. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what is Jim Davis getting up to?
Yeah.
These days?
Garfield hates Mondays and
is
is not
denying
Spider-Man.
his passionate love affair with Spider-Man. But then I realized it was probably Andrew Garfield, and I don't know. That set me straight. I changed my tune.
People are loving your Andrew Garfield impression, by the way, Ethan. It was very good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
I could
loath
do
to
better.
admit.
I would need time to prepare. Give me a little bit of credit. Listen, we got the first set photo for Moon Knight, and it's Ethan Hawke. And,
Ethan Hawke is Moon Knight?
I thought,
no,
Poe Dameron is Moon Knight.
Ethan Hawke is in Moon Knight. I don't
He's
know
not
who's
Moon.
playing. So it's just
He
a
probably
photo of
plays,
him on set. He's just
Constantine
walking
there.
by. Yeah. So, have you seen Ethan Hawke?
I've seen Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, I've seen
before,
Ethan
sure.
Hawke.
That's what the set photo.
He's a
looks like,
human.
He's walking by.
Oh no shit.
He's a human being that I've seen before, yeah.
I've seen him in real life.
Very.
Okay.
And I know Ryan's got his 30 Second to Mars guitarist, but I've seen Ethan Hawke in real life.
Tell us about it.
Well,
Speak on that.
What do you smell like?
I saw this movie called Boyhood, I believe, and which is it is literally the length of a child's growth from birth
Richard Linklater,
to adulthood. Very, very long picture. And Ethan Hawke was there in the theater and talked about it a little bit. So,
Nice.
Did you
What do you
ask
about
any
that?
questions? Did you raise your hand?
no, I did not.
You didn't ask, can you be on Ryan Stegman's podcast?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I just said I didn't ask him any questions.
Did you?
Okay.
next time,
Okay.
next time you see him,
Did you make any
yeah.
declarations explaining to him what my podcast is?
Okay, that is clever, Ryan. I like the way you got around that. I am proud of you for.
Thank you.
Because I feel like you've learned something from our time together. I made no declarations. I made no vocalizations of any kind. I simply watched him.
Okay.
Okay.
And I listened to him. I watched and I listened and I tried to learn, but I don't think I did.
Was he teaching you something?
No, but people don't have to be actively teaching to learn. That's life, man. You can just learn things.
Okay.
If you keep your eyes open,
All right.
keep your ears open, and most importantly, keep your mind and your heart open.
Okay.
Was he teaching a class? Is that what you were in?
No. Look. Okay, you know what I will say? I will say the three of you are poor students. You are not. Because mere minutes ago, I said I was at the fucking movie. I was at the movie theater watching Boyhood for a very, very long time. My boyhood ended during the film.
Meaning you had a drink during the movie for the first time.
As we've established.
Yeah.
It was your
Yes, the
21st
theater
birthday.
was the brown place. I was in the
Nice.
brown place.
Nice setup.
And
Bring it
Ethan Hawke
back.
was there.
Okay.
Yes. So, I guess so. That's it. So that's better than the 32nd of Tomorrow's Guitars. Is really the lesson I want you guys to.
Lazar Lilac says he's lying. They totally made out. Charles, who do I believe here?
Is that true?
Yeah. Laser's a pretty reliable person.
Did you make out in Ethan Hawke's college?
Listen, Laser Lilac does not lie.
Even though lie is literally right there in the name.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. She never does.
Anyway,
listen.
that's not the point. The point is that I have seen Ethan Hawke in person. No matter what happened or didn't happen, I've seen him.
Who's the most famous
really
person
cool.
you've seen in person?
Jeez. Henry Cavill is pretty famous. Probably more than that. There's a lot of like green rooms and stuff like that I've seen people like you see people around. I'm sure you have too, Ryan. Like random celebrities at shows and things like that. What
did you learn from Henry Cavill?
to stay far away from him because he had a huge bodyguard that was very clearly intent that he never going away. Let's see. One fun thing is I spent a week in a van in New Zealand with Marina Sirtis from she was Deanna Troi, and she is awesome. We were there for 2 conventions on subsequent weekends, and so she decided there was kind of this the organizer of the New Zealand conventions was like, anybody who wants to, we'll get a van, we'll drive around, we'll see a bunch of cool stuff in New Zealand between the 2 shows. I love doing that. Anybody who wants to go. And I was like, I'll do that. I've never been to New Zealand. And the other some other artists went, and then some celebrities went, people from Stargate and various other shows. And for whatever reason, Marina Sirtis decided, who is super famous. Everyone knows exactly who Marina Sirtis is when she walks in a room. Decided she was going to go sit in the van for the week with us. And she is, when you think of Deanna Troi, you think of somebody who's kind of like poised and emotionally connected, and she is not like that in person. She's like this blousy Cockney, very she's a broad, she was awesome.
She's very blunt. Yeah.
Yes, and oh fuck this, and she told the same stories about Shatner and Picard. What's his actual name?
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. It was great, man. Just hearing the same stories, you're like, oh, what a great story the first time. Second time, okay, also good. Third time, you're like, oh, I get it. This is and so I don't know. So in terms of sustained interaction, and other than myself, she's probably the most famous person I spent a lot of time with. But she was great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's the end of Ethan Hawke talk.
Very
next
nice.
up,
very nice.
There's another Superman movie coming, Ryan. It's the one written by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
What? I didn't know that.
I've hung out with him before too. He might be more famous than anyway, he's pretty famous too.
I don't know if this needs to turn into all the famous people Charles knows, but
you know what? It probably doesn't. It just sort of tends to happen.
All the famous people that have taught Charles.
If it's unavoidable, yeah.
All the courses that he's attended. All the famous people he's learned from.
The Superman movie is going to be written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's produced by J.J. Abrams, but he's not directing. And there's details coming out about it that are probably true, from Hollywood Reporter, that are saying that Kal-El will be in it, but it's separate from the DCEU that we already have. It's in its own little world. It might be a period piece, much like the Robert Pattinson Batman being in the 90s or whatever. And it's likely that Superman will be an African-American actor. So the rumors about Michael B. Jordan are back again.
Let's go.
Yeah. So
that's cool. That'd be really cool. I would love to see something like that.
Yeah. Would you love to see another Joker? Because that's also apparently coming.
Is this...
Wait, Joker 2?
Yeah, Joker 2.
With
Apparently
Joaquin Phoenix, okay.
The headline is, it seems Warner Brothers is planning to move forward with a sequel to Joker after all. So what do you want to see, boys? What do you want to see from the Joker? What's he up to this time?
Can he get on Dancing? I want to see Dancing with the Stars.
Did I tell you guys that I didn't see this most recent Joker?
Oh, no shit.
Did you really not? Wow.
No. I don't know why.
It's huge.
Yeah. I don't know how this happened. But now it's like one of those things where it's just like, well, now it's like too old. I don't want to see an old movie.
What?
It's a classic. Is probably in black and white or some bullshit like that, right?
Yeah.
Movies just get in black and white if they're over 18 months old.
Where would you even find it? A video store?
It's true. You know, all the blockbusters are closed.
Yeah.
I did see Joker. I thought it was pretty nihilistic. I wasn't really in the place for it. You know, like it didn't grab me. Like I didn't like the message it put out into the world. But I know that plenty of people did. You know, everybody's taste is different, but that's kind of how I felt about it. And so I don't know. I mean, I'm not surprised they're going to make another one. I just don't know if they need to, but that's probably true of a lot of things. Let me put it this way. I am much more interested in that Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman than I am in Joker 2. I think that is a story that would be really interesting. I think it could be really resonant. And I think it could really develop, like, you know, how many times have we seen the Superman story that we've all seen? Like, we've seen that story probably, like there was the you know, the black and white TV show, the radio serials, the Fleischer cartoons, right? Like just, I don't know, 50 times at least, not to even mention the comics. Like we are ready to see that story redone in an interesting new way. And particularly at this moment in time, like I think seeing a Superman story reinvented is great. I can't wait. And Ta-Nehisi's brilliant, so it's going to be super cool, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's fascinating.
Go ahead.
I think it's fascinating that if Joker is a continuing series, then their upcoming slate is including the Flash movie in which Michael Keaton is back as Batman. That's another piece of news. So Michael Keaton will be Batman in the Flash movie, and potentially Ben Affleck again in that movie as well. And there will be a separate universe of Robert Pattinson's Batman movie series coming out. And there will be a separate series of Joaquin Phoenix Joker movies coming out, along with another universe of Superman movies coming out. But none of them are connected.
I just zoned out. You just said, like, a complicated math equation.
Every character's in its own universe.
Let me interject here real quick to say this week I did something that I do. Like, once every few years, I'll just kind of be like, remember when Tim Burton was going to give us a Superman movie? And then I just fall down like a Wikipedia rabbit hole of Superman Lives. And I had one of those weeks this week, and god damn it. Why didn't... In this era of, like, just saying fuck it and throwing everything at the wall, that sort of thing is what I'd like to see. And so...
Yeah, I wish it existed,
this sort of Superman move feels really exciting.
Did you see the documentary about the Tim Burton?
Yeah,
that was a cool movie.
A few days ago.
Yeah, they kind of explained everything in a cool way.
That one, I think we're talking about the death of Superman Lives. What happened?
Yeah,
was made by a Mr. John Schnepp, who I used to watch in a bunch of podcasts and stuff. I used to be all the AMC movie talk that he was on, and he like really tragically died a few years ago, and that was upsetting to hear about. And so I'd never seen it until this week. And yeah, good stuff. And it was surprising. It was really interesting to see Tim Burton like in there. I can't believe he got Tim Burton first off, but also Tim Burton's like sort of, you know, because he's a bit of a character obviously, and so his thoughts are kind of like sort of sporadic and kind of a little all over the place. But you can really feel his like, I don't know, intention with the movie, and it sounded really, really great. And Nicolas Cage, of course, it would have been just such an interesting pick to see mostly.
Yeah,
definitely.
Are we talking about cool documentaries? Because I saw one that was pretty cool recently.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about now? Okay.
Is this the Sasquatch one?
Yes. So good, right?
I didn't see it. My friends have all been raving. Well, some of them are angry about it, and some of them love it. One of the one that's angry is Dave Acosta, a friend of the show, been on the show. He wanted it to be all about Sasquatch.
Yes.
But the
what
people
is this called?
What's it?
It's called Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
But go ahead, explain it, because
okay.
It does
So
cool.
the show is about basically the this is all in the first 5 minutes. This isn't spoiling anything, but the documentarian who's a well-known kind of crime journalist guy who's made some other films about other famous kind of crimes, and sort of help to crack them. Tells this story. He's like, I've never told anybody this story before, but in the early 90s, I used to hang out in sort of Northern California, Oregon, around there, which was a huge kind of super remote, rugged part of the country, like mountains and evergreen forests and all that, and also where they have these huge kind of hidden pot farms in like Humboldt County and places like that. And so he knew somebody, and so he was just kind of hanging out on one of those for a little while, doing some work or something like that. And one night he was there, and at like the cabin of the guy who owned this huge farm, this huge pot farm, and these three middle of the night, these three workers come up, and they're all like, freaked out. They're freaked out because apparently there are some other workers who were at a one of the sites, and they were like gathering stuff together, and then they were attacked and they were destroyed, like ripped apart, limb from limb. And the owner of the farm is like, well, what the, who did it? Like, what's going on? And the guy said it was Bigfoot. And so the documentarian is like, I don't even know if I actually heard that, and I don't know what happened, and I kind of never let it get out of my mind, and it was kind of it was not the kind of place you ask questions. And so he had kept it in his head for 2 decades, and then he goes back and he investigates it to see whatever the hell, if that actually happened, if he just sort of dreamed it because he was high, or whatever was going on. And so that's the documentary, like, and it's really good.
That sounds
I understand all of the I wish it was only about Bigfoot, because he also gets into like the pot grower culture up there and all kinds of things, but it's really fascinating. There's a scene with a sheriff in his car that I thought was really powerful and good. So
I mean, there's probably a lot of Bigfoot documentaries that are just about Bigfoot. It sounds like it's got other things surrounding.
Do they get to the bottom of if Bigfoot is real or not?
They basically do, right?
Wow.
I don't want to spoil this, but in the last act they interview him.
Oh. Well, that's a bit of a spoiler, honestly.
I can't
believe they got him.
But I don't want to spoil what Bigfoot has to say. It's groundbreaking.
True. Have you guys? I mean, it's likely not, but the YouTube channel All Gas No Brakes, before it got shut down because of a whole bunch of stupid shit, had an episode. It's a sort of documentarian sort of thing, and he's got an episode where he's following the Minnesota Bigfoot research team, and that is a very nice little 12-minute expose on the culture in this very, very Midwestern United States town, and the culture surrounding Bigfoot within their town as a sort of tourist attraction, and also piece of cryptid lore that's in their town forever. And we got some interesting folks up there. It was a good time. Ryan, I'll send you the link. You have to watch it because I think you'll fucking love it.
Because I like to make fun of people.
It just occurred to me about this. Like, I'm thinking about what I actually saw there. The interview was subtitled, right? So, but who the fuck speaks Bigfoot? Who know? They could have just made that up.
Well, don't they speak Wookiee?
Yeah, I mentioned it's probably close.
It didn't sound like. Look, I'm an expert in that field.
Oh, okay.
That was not Wookiee, and the actual term is Shriwook. That's what they speak, Ryan.
How did I not know that?
Because you're not an expert.
I'm wondering the same question, Ryan. Didn't you see Solo, a Star Wars story?
Yes.
This might not pay off as a question at all. But has anyone here heard the audiobook for the first Thrawn book? Because I was listening to that the other day, and there's a scene where the Princess Leia is talking to some Wookiees, and she has recently learned Shriwook, and so she's like, we're hearing from her perspective, like her translating what they're saying. But the voice performers in the audiobook are like doing this like halfway between Shriwook and talking voice. So it's like, it's very nice to meet you. Like, it's like...
You know what? I actually recently wrote a Star Wars novel, Light of the Jedi.
Did you?
#1 New York Times bestseller, as a matter of fact.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And there was an audiobook for it done by the incredible Mark Thompson, and there's a Wookiee Jedi named Buryaga, who's a pretty central character to the book. And in the audiobook, there are bits with him, like he's speaking Shriwook to people who don't understand Shriwook, but it's conveyed in dialogue in the book, like what he's saying, because he's thinking it, right? So he's like, how are you guys doing today? But he's he's saying that in Shriwook, right? So the way that Mark Thompson decided to do that is start the line in Shriwook and then finish it in English, and it is the best. And that's the kind of quality you get when you read a Star Wars novel.
Where were these translators when the holiday special was coming out? I would have liked to know what the hell was going on the first 45 minutes of the show. That would have been nice. But I guess it's all in the adventure, right? It's all part of it.
Anyway, well, fellas, is there more pop culture news, or is that segment done?
There's some. We're going to keep going indefinitely, so if you got to go, you can go.
Yeah, feel free to jump.
I think I'm going to jump. But Ryan, it has been a huge pleasure to hang out a little bit, as always.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you for saving my show.
Charles, real quick, we did have a fantastic question for you, and that was, what is currently on the vinyl player behind you?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's called a record player, Griffin.
Did I say vinyl player?
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
Listen. It's all right.
Did you hear?
What'd you say?
Did not.
It's Radiohead Amnesiac, which is
I love
fun
that.
because it's a good record, but it's also like most records are 33 speed. For some reason, this, even though it's an LP, is 45 speed. So when I first started to listen to it today, I didn't have the speed setting, and so I was like, God, I don't remember this record sounding like all mushy and weird and rah, rah, rah. And then I pressed a little speed up button. I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's basically all that's happened to me today, other than this. That's why I was free to come on the.
How many records do you have?
It's not a crazy amount. I mean, for the record player setup, I've got, I don't know, 150 maybe, something like that.
Nice.
Okay, well.
What's the best one?
Not
What's
as
your favorite one
impressive
you got?
as I hoped.
Favorite one I've got?
Now we're just stalling to keep Charles on the show.
I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Can you
the
see
ratings.
it? Like, can you see the record setup
Yeah,
very well?
it is nice.
So, like, I've got a bunch of stuff. This shelf here in the middle, I don't know if you can see what I'm pointing at, is where I have, like, cool editions of my own stuff, which makes like
Very cool.
editions of things, you know? And then up here is all the rock and pop stuff, and then down there's some jazz and board games. In terms of my favorite record that I have, I'm looking at them right now. I don't know, I've got some good stuff. This is some Detroit stuff.
Just plug his own band right now.
I have a
MC5?
No. Oh, I do have MC5, but Jack White.
Nice.
I have
Very
some
nice.
cool Jack White stuff that I like, which is fun. I don't know. Honestly, you know what? I know what it is. There's a record by a guy named Lee Morgan that is called The Gigolo. All right, whatever. And he was a great trumpet player. Died tragically. Was shot on the bandstand.
Wow.
You know, which happens to many. That's a lot of jazz people go out that way. But this record I really like because I remember listening to it with my dad when you know, like I don't know, we just listened to it together. A lot of memories associated with it. Like there's a great, like on the title track, The Gigolo, Lee Morgan comes in with a really, really killer trumpet solo, and I just remember talking about it with my dad and be like, isn't that badass? And he's like, yeah, that's badass. And so it's not, you know, it's not the deepest memory, but it always makes me think of him. So that is probably the record that I have. So,
very nice. Well, what a great note to go out on. Thanks so much for joining us, Charles.
All right.
Thank you, Charles, for real. Thank you. Love you.
Charles, good talking to you.
Bye. Well, don't we love a guest star, folks? I get some chains in the chat.
That was nice.
Mr.
That was
Soul.
awesome that he did that.
100%. But we got pop culture news to get to, folks, or do we?
Yeah,
what
fuck that.
I don't know.
Let's move the hell on.
Why? What are we going to talk about?
What's left?
I mean, there's never not pop culture news. It's not something that you can catch up on. It's not something that you can feel completed with. It's a nonstop influx.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the real shit. Let's talk about the MCU shit. Did you see the Phase 4 trailer thing, Ryan?
Mm-mm.
They put out this like little highlight reel of some Marvel shit, and then right at the end they teased a lot of Phase 4 stuff. So we got our first look at Eternals. There's a couple of little quick clips of Angelina Jolie with a cool sword, and you see Kumail Nanjiani doing his thing.
A cool sword? Did Donnie write this thing?
Yeah, it looks like a Donnie Cates project. So that was cool. And then there were kind of a couple of little title changes and announcements. So we saw that Black Panther 2 is going to be called Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So it's safe to assume that it's going to be focusing on the rest of the cast that we established in Wakanda and kind of maybe seeing who will be stepping up to that mantle. And we saw that Captain Marvel too is like going to be this little team movie called The Marvels, which will be her as well as Miss Marvel, who's getting her Disney Plus series, and Monica Rambeau from
that's cool.
WandaVision.
And that'll be a movie?
Yeah. So that's Captain Marvel 2 is going to be this little team up movie called The Marvels. So those are all good things, I think.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. That's all I've got.
Yeah.
Did you? We talked about this a little briefly. I rang you the other day to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and you have not seen it.
I watched the first episode. So we kind of did this thing where we watched WandaVision with my neighbors, and they would come over on Fridays with their kids, and the kids would all watch it. And then we did the first episode of Falcon, and I think we did the first 2 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and the kids just checked out because it was kind. I mean, it's not this. Yeah. It's not.
Lots of talking.
Yeah.
Lots of talking.
And so we haven't revisited it. So I'm gonna have to find time on my own time to watch it, and it's just one of those things where I have a million things going on, so I haven't seen it.
You really got it because that last episode is fucking fire. It's so good.
Yeah. So I just haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
It's good stuff. You got to get there.
Jesus.
That's new MCU stuff, but old MCU stuff is getting the fucking shaft. Because so this is kind of answering the question of what exactly will continue to be canon in the MCU. Because so they have this section on Disney Plus called Marvel Legacy, and that's where the non-canon stuff goes, like the X-Men movies and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And what they have now moved there is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as well as even Agent Carter, which was
really
surprising.
No shit.
Yeah, and so it kind of begs the question as to, of course, the Netflix stuff, because that's not going to go there yet, if at all. But yeah, Agent Carter has moved there, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has moved there, and Runaways, which I think was something we all assumed wouldn't be canon. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter is pretty surprising to me.
Yeah, that's a big retcon. They must just...
Yeah.
I don't know why they would, because it definitely at the time was supposed to tie all the continuity. It's kind of what they're doing with the shows now is what they kind of seem to envision that as.
The Peggy Carter one is interesting in particular because we meet that version of Jarvis in that show, and then he shows up in Endgame, and it was like, oh wow, they got him in there. So it's weird that they felt like they were tying it in even more with that little bit, and then subsequently are like, nah, never mind.
Abigail Mendoza says it's canon until Feige says otherwise. So I think that was a shot at you guys, because you guys aren't Kevin Feige.
We're not Kevin Feige, but the Marvel Legacy section seems like where continuity goes to die. It seems like its own little deserted island. Or they're like, nah, don't. You can watch that, but you don't have to.
Well, I'm excited to see Marvel handle the X-Men. The very first X-Men movie was really good. I thought the second one was good too.
Listen, there's like, the thing about the X-Men franchise is that it was like 50-50.
Yeah, the first class was great.
Yeah.
What else was
Yes,
good?
it was.
First Class is awesome. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past is pretty good too, directed by the worst person ever, Bryan Singer. Piece of shit.
Which takes us to Bryan Singer news. No, I'm just kidding.
Welcome back.
He's in jail.
Singer, more like fuck that guy.
Yeah, no. It occurs to me that I've never actually said this out loud before. Is it Red Sonja?
No, it's Sonya.
Is that how you say it?
Sonya.
Red Sonja. I thought it might be Sonya, but I wasn't positive. Yeah, okay. Well, there's a movie for that happening, and it cast that lady from Ant-Man and Wasp. She was Ghost.
Okay.
She's Red Sonja, apparently. It's kind of interesting.
It is interesting. I've never really read a Red Sonja comic, but people seem to like the character, so, and I hope it's not just because of the outfit.
Right. You would think it's not going to be that outfit in the new movie.
Yeah, probably not.
That would be...
Ryan's shrugging his shoulders. We'll see. We'll see when we get there.
It'd take a lot of glue.
Yeah. It would. Do you guys want to talk Zack Snyder news before we wrap this up?
I mean, I feel like we have to.
Yes.
We've bookended it with Ryan's two favorite segments. Let's go Leto and Zack Snyder news.
It's amazing.
So,
is it on purpose? Do you do this on purpose, or is this just like legitimately always pop culture news when you check?
No, there's always Leto and Snyder news, but I just always make sure that I get it in there.
Is there like a SnyderUpdates.com?
We could be talking about. There were bigger announcements over the last 2 weeks, but I want to make sure we take the time for this stuff. All right, Snyder. So he, oh god. So he said that when asked about the toxic fans in the release the Snyder Cut crowd, he said, quote, "It's hard to be mad at them." And he said that when he was campaigning the way that he did by sharing stuff and everything, he was worried that the studio would sue him, quote, "Do something to silence me."
Wow.
So he's got this little militia of fans that he doesn't seem.
Doesn't seem like a little militia. It seems like a full-blown militia. Like
they bought
militia that
they took over Hollywood, apparently.
Yeah. They were literally sending death threats to people, so yeah, I don't know if it's too hard to be mad at people that are sending death threats on your behalf, but yeah.
What if it turned out that he was just like he was like just creating all these accounts?
The leader?
Yeah, he's like the Russian bots. You've got the Snyder bots out there. Be amazing.
He has an alibi though, because while all of that was happening on Twitter, he was only on Vero. So.
Yeah. What the fuck? He had to go underground.
What's Vero?
Exactly.
That was the Twitter, like the diet Twitter that he was using for a long time.
Oh.
I love
he was over there, he was the only person on Vero, and that's where he was releasing all these images to keep people talking about the Snyder Cut.
I love how he's like, I was like kind of, worried that the studio was gonna find out and silence me. It's like, dude, you were on Vero. I almost didn't even fucking find out.
I didn't even. Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't. That's so weird.
I know. He's on Twitter. Just do it on Twitter.
He was also asked if he would like to direct a Star Wars movie, which I think would be fascinating. But he said that he, quote, doesn't think he would survive it, because he thinks he would be reined in too much creatively. Which is interesting.
So that he was not reined in. Okay. All right. Let's end the show.
Let's end the show. Okay, that's fine. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Like I said, stay tuned. Keep your eyes on the feed for that awesome episode we got coming out with Riley Rossman and Stephanie Phillips coming out tomorrow. Also, Mr. Kenny Porter had a graphic novel drop. It's somewhere. It's on the other side of my room. But Fearless by Kenny Porter is in comic shops now. If you're in Michigan and you get to a Vault of Midnight, they got signed copies at all their locations, I believe. I'm sorry, Kenny, if that's incorrect. But either way, Fearless is out. You can go check that out. The latest work from Mr. Kenny Porter, of course. It's fantastic. We hope you guys enjoy. And Kenny will be back soon to chat about it. So go check it out. Otherwise, though, you know all the usual stuff. Follow us on Twitter at Stegman Show. This is one of 3 shows on the Amazing Friends Podcast Network, including Devil's Advocates Book Club with Donnie Cates and Megan Hutchinson Cates, where we talk about only Y the Last Man, and we're never
currently only Y the Last
anything else ever again. Ryan, you want to chime in on Y the Last Man at all?
I love it.
Okay.
Right.
And the other show, Supple Boys, the flagship show of the network that has
we talk about Y the Last Man.
we also talk about talking about Y the Last Man. You can check all those out, of course, at SheridanandSmith.com. You can also support the Patreon and get the merch and all that stuff. Patreon supporters, hey, if you're in the chat, I know a couple of you are. We got a hangout Saturday night. Be there. Right. Ryan, you want to come hang out?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks so much for watching the show, everybody. We will see you guys again soon. But until then...